And we are live. I think my microphone is working. Oh my goodness, I hope it is. Can anyone hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. We are supposed to be live, and I will know right away if you guys can hear me or not. I don't see my microphone like doing things, so I'm afraid that you can hear me? Yes? Okay. Okay, great, awesome, because I'm using the audio on my webcam this time. Okay, awesome. I guess it's just YouTube is messing up for me. I'm using the audio on my webcam this time instead of the computer because I was noticing last live stream I did that every time I turned to face you guys, which is the camera, to talk to you, it was sounding weird because the microphone was over here. So hopefully the audio sounds better this time. Sounds like everyone can hear me. Okay, awesome, loud and clear. Great. What's up, guys? Welcome to another Write With Me live stream, super chill live stream writing session. I'm so glad you could make it. I'm so glad to see all of your smiling faces here with me today. We're going to get some writing done and we're going to chat a bit about stories. I'm going to answer some of your questions that come in, and yeah, it's just going to be a super chill, fun live stream. So first things first, tell me where you're tuning in from and also what you're working on today. What is it you're sitting down to write? What genre are you writing? If you don't want to share anything about your book, I totally get it. I'm going to be working on, it's funny because I didn't even think about what I was going to work on. I was just so focused on doing other things today. And I'm like, oh, I need to get ready for the live stream. And I didn't even think about what I'm working on. But I have a general idea. And I think I'm going to just work on my current manuscript because I was trying to decide if I should work on that, continuing writing the first draft, or if I should outline something else. So yeah, it was kind of a toss-up, and I decided to work on the manuscript. So yeah, I'm excited to get into that. Wow, you guys are all over the world. It's so cool to see all kinds of awesome stories. Fantasy, murder mystery, children's fiction, urban fantasy from all over the world. Awesome. So great to see you all here. That is so cool. You guys are awesome. Okay. So how these live streams always go is we're going to do writing sprints. So we usually do 4 to I think I've done 5 in the past, but that was a really long live stream. This time we're going to do 3 writing sprints of 25 minutes. I literally didn't even open my my Scrivener project. Okay. I finally finished outlining my current work in progress. This was something that when I outline a book, I continue to outline it even though I'm currently writing it. I'll go back into the outline and flesh some things out and just make it more vivid. Plus I changed a few things about the ending of this book, so it wasn't feeling totally complete to me. So I went back and changed some things in the outline, and my long outline is now 29,000 words. Literally, it is 30,000 words long. And that's probably the longest outline that I've ever written. But, you gotta do what works for you. That's definitely long, detailed outlines definitely work for me. So outlining is never ending. Yep, that is so true. And yeah, I saw a couple of comments about the audiobook. Updates on the audiobook. There is unfortunately the audiobook is not on Amazon yet, which is so annoying. I keep going to their site and refreshing the page. Actually, maybe it's on today. Let's cross our fingers and check. I haven't checked yet today, but I don't think it's there because Audible just takes forever. Nope. Not there yet. But it is on Kobo, or I don't know if it's Kobo. Yeah, it's Kobo and Chirp and Google Play and audiobooks.com. And there are several other platforms that it's on right now. You can find it on Google Play. That's probably the biggest platform that it's currently on. I'm like waiting with bated breath for it to show up on Audible, because I know that's like 80% or 90% of all audiobook sales. So I'm just like, please, Amazon robots, just approve my book. So yeah, still waiting on that, but I'm going to post about it when it happens, and probably do like a little spontaneous live stream or something. So keep an eye out for that. And we're going to dive into the first writing sprint, because I'm pretty sure everybody is here by now, because I've been talking for like 5 minutes or something. Also, I wanted to ask you guys, when I like do my writing sprints and I'm just typing, if I should like shut off my audio. I don't know if it's like annoying to hear me typing and like me setting my glass down and stuff. If that's distracting, I know you guys like probably mute it, but I also have had some of you say that like it's nice ASMR to hear me typing, so I never know what to do. I'm like, should I shut off my sound or should I leave it on? So you tell me, and I'll just determine by what people say here. Sound on? Okay, sound on. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. You all love the ASMR of me typing. Great. Well, I'll leave it on then. Yeah, background ambience. I'm glad it is like that. Okay. I'm probably going to use my phone for music today. I had the weirdest thing happen to me with the playlist that I posted last time. Because if you haven't noticed, I've been doing like writing playlists lately. I just started doing that, like instrumentals, and then alternating instrumentals and also songs with words or lyrics, I say, as a musician. So I posted one last weekend that was the dystopian writing playlist, and then YouTube the other day like randomly took it down, and I'm like, why? And so I go in it and it's like, oh, this song was, and by the way, it passed all of the copyright claims. Like there was no problem. There were a couple songs I took them out because it was like it couldn't be seen, and it was the song Game of Survival by Ruel, and it thought it was somebody else's song and called it something else. And I'm like, that's not actually that song, but YouTube was like, you can't have the first 30 seconds of it. And I'm like, how does that fix anything, first of all? Second of all, it's not even that song. You're thinking it's somebody else's song. I looked up the song. It's just like a remix of Game of Survival. And so that's like totally wonky. And YouTube's like, oh, it's okay. You can just mute that tiny clip, the 30 seconds. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So if you listen to that playlist and you're like, why is there 30 seconds missing from it? That's why. It's so annoying. I have no idea why that happened. Anyway, let's get to writing. I should stop rambling now so that we can all start writing, right? Okay. Yay, glad you guys like the playlist. I'm so excited to make more playlists. I have so many ideas because I have so many playlists, and I've just been like building them out and waiting to post them. My next one's probably going to be something to do with romance, because you know me, I love writing romance, and of course I have a lot of like romantic writing playlists, so super excited to share those with you guys. Okay, so let's start our first writing sprint. We're going to do 3 writing sprints this time, and 25 minutes each, okay? And there'll be a 5-minute break where I can answer some questions and talk to you guys. But let's get into our writing projects, okay? 25 minutes on the timer. Get your timer going or use mine. I will obviously start talking again when 25 minutes is up. Let's go. there is the first timer for the first sprint. So sprint number 1 just finished. How did it go? Let me know. My dog just sighed really emphatically. I don't know if you guys heard. He was like scratching at the door and then wanted to come in. So because he's really good and quiet, and I just groomed him earlier today, so he looks really cute. I don't think I've ever like put him on camera before. He was sleeping. Say hi, Rocket. Hi to the Writer's Life Wednesday community. Oh, he's like so snuggly. So cute. Okay, wow, you guys did amazing. 500 words, 380, 2,000? Oh my God, are you serious? Wow, that's amazing. 589, 489, 326. I feel like I wrote less words than all of you. I'm such a slow writer sometimes, especially like I haven't written this book in a few days, so probably like more like a week. I don't know. Are you hot? Yeah. You're like, why did you pick me up? I was sleeping. You're so cute. Okay. You can continue your nap. Sorry, I just wanted to show off how cute you are. Okay, guys, you did awesome. Great job. I was just getting into it and then the timer rang. So, because I had originally stopped in like a really, like in the middle of a conversation, which I hate stopping in the middle of a conversation unless I already have the rest of the dialogue written, because it's like, it's hard to get back into a conversation, I find. In real life too. In real life as well as in books, but yeah, so. I have no idea how much I wrote, but I should probably look at that. Where did my thing go? Oh, it's back here. 239 words. Yeah, that's pretty low. But as I said, I was getting into that, so still getting into it. You guys did awesome. Great job. Let's see. Yeah, I was like so conflicted about what am I writing today, because like I still don't feel like super into it, but I need to finish this chapter, and I'm kind of close to finishing this chapter. Once I finish this chapter, I will be able to go into, yeah, it's like I'm really close to finishing it. I don't know why I didn't finish it the last time I was writing. But I do want to write. I want to get into the next chapter is really what I'm like waiting to get into. So hopefully I can finish this one in my next sprint, because there's really only like a few lines left. Okay. Just order 100 Days of Sunlight. Yay! That is awesome. I hope you enjoy it. Oh. Hello, I'm 3/4 through my book, but I don't feel inspired anymore. How do I get back into writing? That's a good question. Inspiration is a tricky thing for sure, especially if you're working on something that's really like taking a while or it's a longer project. I'm kind of in that stage with this book that I'm currently writing, because it's the longest thing I've ever written, and I'm probably more than 3/4. Probably like 70%, maybe 80% done. So I've kind of hit that rough area of like feeling like not super inspired, not super motivated to show up and write it, because I'm like, oh, I want to write something new and exciting. So I would say that it's like really all about grit and perseverance. And some days you'll show up and you'll write and you won't feel like writing, but you'll just write anyway. Me and Kate did a podcast recently about getting motivated to write your book. I highly recommend that one. That was like the one before the last one. So definitely check that out. A lot of like motivational stuff in that podcast. We talk about grit and perseverance and also getting inspired in the moment and just some practical things you can do for that. So that is a good episode for sure. Let's see. Oh, you said something about, somebody said that I should play my music out loud. I'm going to share my playlist that I'm listening to, which is the playlist for my book. And I kind of jump all over the place with as far as like what I'm listening to. So it would be probably very strange to hear it. I feel like I have dog hair in my mouth now. Literally, when I was grooming him earlier, and I was grooming both my dogs earlier, and that's my playlist. I'm all over the place, sorry. And I was like, I should be like wearing a face mask or something while I groom them because I just had hair in my mouth and at my nose and it was awful. Okay, questions. How do I get my beta readers to take me seriously? Are they not taking you seriously? If so, get some new beta readers. Legit, like that should be a qualifier that in order to be beta reader, you have to take my book seriously. So I actually made a whole video about beta readers and we did a podcast about beta readers. Check that out. Kind of the same, we cover like the same points. So the video is shorter, but definitely check that out. I have like a whole criteria for picking beta readers. They have to want to see you succeed. They have to read your genre or be into your genre or sort of imagine being into your genre if they're not already. They have to be brutally honest with you. And what was the fourth thing? Brutally honest. I don't know what the fourth thing was. I can't remember it right now, but definitely check out that video because that is my best advice for getting beta readers. Oh, super chat from Lavanya. Is that what that says? Am I reading it right? Hopefully. Thanks for the live session, Abbie. Might I ask what are some of the books that are high on your TBR currently? Thank you so much for the super chat. I so appreciate that. For anybody who doesn't know, super chat is a fun way to support me while we're here on the live stream. So it's the little icon underneath where you type in the comments on the sidebar. That's what that is. If you see that pop up, I will answer your question if I see that come up because they highlight really big. Okay, so books that are high on my TBR currently. Oh my gosh, so many books, so many. Basically like everything on the shelf behind me. That's actually not my TBR. I have read a few of those. A few of them, but not like probably like half of them. I really want to read more classics. I want to read more fantasy. And I know I'm just like throwing out broad genres right now because like I have to like go to actual lists to find like what books are appealing to me. What I've been doing lately is like going on the digital preview like on Amazon for a book that looks interesting to me and like reading the first or spending like 5 minutes reading it. And if it doesn't like hook me and grab me, then I don't really like buy it or try to read it. That's kind of like become my new strategy for finding books that actually do hook me because it's just a lot of books I've like DNF'd really early on because I'm like, I should have read the sample of this before I buy because I'm not into this. But I did get a few books the other day at the bookstore that were not, I haven't like read much of them. I did read the first few pages of one, which is, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the author, Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I thought seemed like a cool premise. I read the first few pages of that online, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of into this. So I was in the bookstore the other day and I saw it, so I grabbed it. And I also got Sarah Dessen's latest book, which I've never read any of Sarah Dessen's books, but they look like my exact genre. And I've had so many people recommend them to me that I'm like, I need to just like buy one of these and read it. So I did, which was I think it was her latest book, which is, I have a terrible memory today. The rest of the story, that's it. But like so many books. That was a really long answer. Okay, Abbie. Another super chat. Thank you to Suzanne Eights. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, Suzanne. Thank you so much for the super chat. I so appreciate it. Let's see. I'll do 2 more questions and then we'll get into our next writing sprint. Okay. I just saw something pop up. Another super chat. Thank you so much to Ishan. Really appreciated this stream. First time I've joined in, but unfortunately I have work call in 10 minutes. Bummer. But hopefully you can come to the next one. I want to do more like later on in the day and also like earlier on in the day. This week I was just like trying to get something up for Wednesday and it didn't happen. So that's why we're here writing on Wednesday instead. Oh, okay. Another super chat. Thank you to Leandra Lit. What 3 words would you use to describe your work in progress? Ooh. Oh, gosh, that's tricky. Like 3 words for the vibe. Okay, I can do 3 words for the vibe. 3 words for the vibe would be crickets, lawnmowers. No, that's not it. That's what I'm hearing right now is lawnmowers as I stare into space and think about this. Probably rain. I don't know. I really don't know. There's so many like vibes in this book. It's like hard to describe in 3 words. There's rain and ocean and whales and islands and lighthouses and just one lighthouse. And every kind of complicated relationship and love dissected. That makes sense. It's kind of like, I hate to call it literary because it's really not literary, but it kind of feels that way just because it's like really slow paced and moody and thoughtful. I'm bad at this. Okay. It's like describe your work in progress in 3 words. You know why that's so difficult? Because it's taken me like 170,000 to describe it. Literally, it is so hard. Okay. Another super chat. Thank you so much. This will be the last one, and then we're gonna go back to writing. Sorry, my answers are so like all over the place today. I'm tired. How do you write a protagonist that is both compassionate and merciful while being as realistic as possible? These characters often sound cheesy, in my opinion. That's a really good point. Yeah, because like if you make your protagonist like too perfect, obviously they do sound cheesy because it's like nobody's like this, nobody's flawless, and that's why you have to give your characters flaws. You have to give your protagonist flaws. And make those flaws like as clear as possible for as quickly as possible. So weaving that into their inner dialogue and even their memories and flashbacks can even be helpful for this as well. Even if it's not a full flashback, even if they're just remembering something really quick, anything that can tell us what are their weaknesses, what are their flaws, what are some things that they mistakenly believe are true about the world and about themselves. And those are the things that will show us that these characters are not perfect. And that is what makes them seem more realistic. So they can still be like compassionate and merciful, obviously, but They have to have weaknesses. They have to be human, right? Okay. Last super chat that I'm going to do for this break, and then we're going to jump back into our works in progress. From Kim, thank you so much. What do you do when you just aren't happy with your outline? I'm constantly changing it and I'm not happy with it, and I really need to start my book. I would say just start it. Like, go with what you have, go with what you're excited about. If you feel inspired with a certain idea or a certain scene, or you can really visualize a particular scene very clearly, just go and write that scene. And you can always go back and change it. I love the quote that you can't edit a blank page, because you can edit something that you've written and you can make it perfect later on, or you can even rewrite it. But just getting started will get you out of that like stuck mode of intimidating yourself so much that you can't like make it to that first step or make it to step 2, right? So step 2 would be like editing and rewriting, revising, but you can't get there until you start writing. So I would say just go with what you have. Take the idea that you're the most excited about, or the scene that you're the most excited about, and write that, even if it's not the first scene that you thought you were going to write. Like, go to the one that you're the most excited about and write that one, and then see what happens from there. Okay, so let's get back into our writing sprints. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I'm going to answer more questions in the next break, but I don't want to ramble on too much because I know we're here to write, right? So let's get into our next writing sprint. And that's going to be 25 minutes. Get your timers going. My timer here, my timer, you'll hear my timer ring again when the sprint is over. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to do 2 more sprints. So this one is sprint 2 out of 3. Okay, let's go. 25 minutes on. Ready, set, write. Sprint number 2 is just finished. And I'm losing my thought. What was I going to write here? How was, tell me in the chat. It's funny, like I need these to be longer because every time I like get into it, it's over just when I'm getting into it. Wow, a lot of words here. 494, 628, 250, 300, 700. You guys are awesome. Way to go. You guys are doing great. Congratulations. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I don't think I wrote much of anything. I'm struggling with this dialogue, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's just like, I don't think about it enough ahead of time, and then I'm like brainstorming half the time that I'm writing. So the going is slow. But the point is to show up and do it, right? That is the most important part. One of these days, I'm thinking of doing a live stream where I don't do sprints, where I just like write and we don't stop. Because it'd probably be like easier. Another super chat. Yay! Thank you so much to True Stories. Thank you so much for the super chat. I literally just corrected the previous paragraph instead of writing. I need to make myself stop looking backwards and just go on with my story. Loved your book. Yeah, that is definitely a struggle that I I deal with as well. When I'm writing, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look right. And I'm just like editing. You have to stop doing this, Abbie. You're not getting anywhere. So yeah, definitely totally understand that. And I'm so glad you loved the book. Thank you so much. You guys did awesome. So many words. Wow. Okay. So I was listening to my Thomas Newman and Chill writing playlist. It's just a playlist, I guess. While I was writing just now, and I was thinking about how if this book like ever was turned into a movie or a TV show, I would want Thomas Newman to do the soundtrack because I love his music so much. He's just like one of my favorite composers, and honestly, like all of my books, I would be totally good with Thomas Newman or Rob Simonson are like my top favorite go-to soundtrack artists for contemporary, which got me thinking that I wanted to ask you guys, if your work in progress was turned into a movie, who would you want to do the soundtrack? Because honestly, that is like, for me, that is like a bigger question than who would be like acting as your characters. Who would you cast as your characters? Like, even more important, who's doing the soundtrack? Okay, more super chats coming in. From Justin, thank you so much, Justin. Had my heart recently broken, so this is cathartic for me right now. I've been writing this graphic novel for 11 years and feel like I've been stuck in neutral for the past 5. Any advice? Wow, that is a long time to be persevering on a project. So congratulations and way to go on persevering on that. That is so awesome. As far as like getting back into it or getting inspired, for me, it's always about finding what was the thing that originally got me excited about this. And if I can reconnect with that spark of energy, like that first thing that was the driving force behind the reason why I did this in the first place. And maybe you can't even put it into words, but even just a feeling, if you can grab onto a feeling and run with that, that is so valuable for getting inspired and for getting back into a project and for sticking with a project for a long time. I think it really has to be something you love. in order to stick with it. And for most writers, what you write is a labor of love, because it is not necessarily immediately rewarding, but it is something that you love. And remembering that why, the thing behind the thing, is so, so valuable for staying with something. We also did a podcast on having grit, and that is one of my favorite episodes. So that sounds like something that would help you out in this area of working on your graphic novel. But way to go, and keep up the good work. Let's see. Another super chat. Thank you to RST. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see, any other questions? Oh, I want to know, like, who are the Hans Zimmer? Yes, Hans, the legend. James Horner. I love James Horner. John Williams. Hans Zimmer. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, man. All of these artists, I love all of their music so much. Literally, like, I'm such a soundtrack junkie. Every time the Spotify Wrapped thing happens at the end of the year, it's like, your top genre was, wait for it. I'm like, I know what it is. Soundtrack. Every year it is soundtrack, because I listen to thousands of hours of soundtracks. And like the top 5 artists are always soundtrack artists, like composers for film scores. And I'm like, not surprised. What was my my top listened to artist last year? Thomas Newman. Of course. I can't remember how many thousands of hours of his music I listened to, but it was a lot. And I was like in the top 0.5% of his audience. Literally, like the top, I think it was like the top 0.01% of his audience. And I'm like, I am honored. Okay, let's answer some questions. I have your live stream on one tab and your playlist in another. Also, do you have any tips on getting inspired to write your story when you're just not motivated? So like that's been like the theme today, I guess. Gosh, listen to those podcasts. Remember your why and listen to those podcasts I mentioned. And from like another standpoint, just getting into like the mood of something, the vibe of something, how it feels. And even like we're talking about with music or vision boards, Pinterest boards, aesthetic boards, stuff like that. Visualizing your story and really making your characters more vivid, that is something that always inspires me. If I'm feeling like, this is kind of dry, this is kind of like I'm not really into this. If I can just give my characters a little bit more life and expression, it makes all the difference, really. Hold on. You want to leave? Are you deserting me? Live stream's not over, but go ahead. Rocket's like, okay, I'm gonna head out. It's fine. So yeah. How many words do I usually write in 25 minutes? Not many. It really depends. Like, okay, when I keep stopping like this, it's hard for me to get back into it. So that's why I said that, like, we should do a live stream sometime where we don't stop. We just like go for like an hour straight. I want to try that sometime because that'd be fun. But like normally, if I'm like really into what I'm writing and I don't stop, I can write probably like 500 words in 25 minutes, because based on just like larger writing sprints I've done in the past, where I've done like 3 hours, 4,000 words, or 3 hours, 3,000 words. Basically, I can write 1,000 words in an hour if I'm like really into it. Okay. Whoa, chat is flying. Amy, thank you for the super chat. Do you and Kate ever plan to collaborate with other author tubers? That's a good question. That would be really fun. We should do that. I would really love to do that. Looks like we're all talking about MBTI types too. What's the tea today? The tea is a iced chai latte. Dirty chai latte, I should say, because I usually make my iced chai lattes with a little bit of coffee. I am not a coffee drinker, but I do like a little bit of coffee in my chai lattes. Is really good. I usually do like a coconut creamer that's like vanilla flavored. It is so good. It is so good. Definitely my go-to like warm weather writing drink. Okay, let's answer 2 more questions and then get into our last sprint. Super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Prince. Thanks for doing this live stream because I wasn't going to write today. Do you have any particular method for differentiating character voice? Character voice is one of my favorite things to talk about. I feel like this fan is now blowing around a bunch of dust. I'm just like gonna start having an allergy attack on live stream. That would be glamorous. Character voice. I did a whole video on that, and definitely look it up because I give like my best tips for it in that. But that's one of the things that I think should change with every book. Like when I talk about writing style, your writing style should change with every book technically, because if you're writing first person, especially first person point of view of like alternating points of view, each point of view should feel a little bit different. Like all the characters should have their own voice. And what I mean by that is a lot of times it's just a process of knowing what not to do. So figuring out things ahead of time of this character uses this word a lot or uses this expression a lot, or they're more poetic and descriptive, or they're more short and to the point and precise with their language, or they think like a slam poem, you know, something that is specific to that character. Even making a note about that in your notes or in your outline or your character profiles, and then making sure that your other characters don't do that, because that's the tell, in my opinion, that pulls you out of the book, is when you're really in a character's mind and then you're like, wait a minute, the other character just used that turn of phrase or just said the exact same thing, or their voice sounds the same. And that I've found is what pulls me out of character voice and makes me think, oh, this just feels like the author is now talking. So keeping an eye on that and figuring out how can I make each person different by just giving them a set of kind of personality traits, but it's more like narrative traits, if that makes sense. But definitely check out my video on that because I talked about that a lot more. Whoa, okay. More super chats. Thank you so much to Kim. My love interest is a player, but I want tips on making him one without making it borderline sexual harassment-ish. I want a respectful player. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it really just depends on like the actions speak louder than words kind of thing. Like what your character does will say more about who they are than how you're describing them, or even how the characters around them are describing them. So definitely I would say pay more attention to like what decisions is the character actually making, and what is he actually doing that shows us what his character is like, versus how other people interpret who he is, or how they like think or talk in their narrative. My MBTI type, I'm an INFJ. And a lot of you probably already knew that, either from me talking about it or because you're just really good at pegging personality types. I love doing that myself. That's like one of my favorite pastimes, especially with Enneagram. I've gotten like really into Enneagram over the past year, and I love just like observing somebody and being like, they're an 8, they're a 1, they're a 2, but they're really unhealthy too. They're a really healthy 7, and everyone's just like, what are you talking about? It's funny. Okay. Knew it. Yay, same INFJ gang. Awesome. All the INFJs are here. I feel like a lot of INF writers are INFJs because like we are constantly fighting with emotions versus logic and live in our heads most of the time. So I feel like writing, the art of writing just calls forth the INFJs of the world. Okay, so I think we just hit our 90-minute mark, which I told you guys this would be a 90-minute writing session, and now it's 90 minutes. We've only done 2 sprints. We need to get to our 3rd sprint, okay? I don't know if I missed a super chat up here. I really hope I didn't, but if I did, my apologies. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, by the way. You are awesome. Okay, ready for our 3rd writing sprint, 3rd and final writing sprint. Let's get into it. Hopefully I can finish the chapter this time. I didn't do it last time. I'm gonna finish the chapter. That's gonna be my goal, okay? I'm not even gonna think about that other chapter today. I'm just gonna finish this one. Okay. Let's set up our timer. 25 minutes, last 25 minutes on the clock. And I will talk to you in 25 minutes. Let's do this. Okay. that is it. It's our timer for our last writing sprint. Boom. How'd it go? How did the third and final writing sprint go? Comment in the chat. I finished my chapter. Yay! I'm so glad that's over. Let's see. Chapter ended up being 3,000 words, but I did not write all of that today, obviously. Let's see, what did I write? 718 words. Not much, but that conversation took some more thought than I thought it was going to, because I didn't really have like any source material or anything prepared ahead of time as far as their conversation went. So I kind of like had to think about it while I was writing it, which a lot of times I either like mentally go through it a lot so that I can write it faster, or I write the dialogue ahead of time. So usually I can write faster than that, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the writing session. It went good. I'm glad it went good for you guys as well. Looks like you guys got a ton of words written. 586, 1,200. Wow. 1,400 words today. Way to go. 300 words, 568. Guys writing my basic outline. Awesome. Yay. I'm so glad it was a success for you guys. I'm so glad you got some writing done, some outlining or editing or whatever you were working on. That is awesome. Congratulations. Thank you for coming with me on this writing journey, like metaphorically, the whole thing, and also today's writing session. It was great. I'm so glad you got to join. And next time I do a live stream writing session, I'm going to do it at a different time of day and probably a different day of the week so that more people can come on. If somebody, you know, I know a lot of you guys work and go to school and stuff like that. So if that happens to coincide based on time zones, I know a lot of times I do these on Wednesday, and sometimes Wednesday is just not available to a lot of writers out there. So I want to make sure that I am doing these live streams at a good time for everybody so that we can all write together, obviously. So awesome. So glad you guys enjoyed the writing session. I've got to run, but I love you guys and I so appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the super chats again. Thank you for showing up for yourself and showing up with me to write together. It's been super fun and I will see you next time. Until then, subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for new videos. I have some exciting new videos coming and I'm so stoked to share them with you. So keep an eye out for that. It's gonna be fun. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna head out. Until next week, my friend, rock on and happy writing.